You're listening to the micro version of the Savage Lovecast, www.savagelovecast.com.
If you're stuck in a relationship quandary, or if you're looking for sexual harmony, well, there's nothing you can't ask on the Savage Lovecast.
If you saw me on Real Time with Bill Maher a week or so ago, during the show, in the part that was broadcast on HBO Live, I was wearing a very tasteful Mr. Turk jacket, always Mr. Turk jackets on Bill Maher, with an ITMFA pin. Of course, ITMFA, impeach the motherfucker already. Every time I go on TV, I like to wear my ITMFA gear and merch. If you saw Overtime on YouTube, the after the show chit chat, I was wearing a black ITMFA t-shirt, much less subtle than my ITMFA pin during the show. But Richard Clark, one of the other guests sitting next to me, he was wearing an American flag lapel pin. Now, they didn't do a close-up of that American flag lapel pin on Richard Clark, but if they had, you would have seen that it was an ITMFA American flag lapel pin. A beautiful, tasteful little enameled American flag lapel pin like the politicians wear, but with ITMFA at the bottom of it, knocked out in bright white letters. We've been selling ITMFA merch, Impeach the Motherfucker Already merch, at itmfa.org or impeachthemotherfuckeralready.com for a few months now. All proceeds from sales go to the American Civil Liberties Union, Planned Parenthood, and the International Refugee Assistance Project. And we have sold enough t-shirts and buttons and hats and coffee mugs to donate tens of thousands, $100,000 to those three organizations. And we are launching this week, today, Tuesday, a new effort, which is to flood the halls of Congress with the same tasteful American flag lapel pins that Richard Clark was wearing on Real Time with me last week. We want to send a message to every member of the House and to every senator that we want this motherfucker impeached already. So if you go to itmfa.org right now and you click on send ITMFA lapel pins to Congress, you will be taken to a special page where you can look up your member of Congress and you can send them a couple of very tasteful ITMFA lapel pins. And you can also send a message that will be included with the lapel pins that you send to your congressman or your senator, explaining to them why you want this motherfucker impeached already. Let Congress know that we are out here and that we are paying attention. Now, we don't expect to see one of our tasteful American flag enamel ITMFA lapel pins on Marco Rubio or John McCain or Ted Cruz, but I hope and I think that it's possible we could wind up seeing an ITMFA lapel pin on Maxine Waters or Ted Lieu or maybe even Adam Schiff if we flood Congress, if we flood their offices with ITMFA lapel pins. So go to itmfa.org or impeachthemotherfuckeralready.com. Send a couple of lapel pins to your member of Congress or your senator or both, along with a note explaining why you want them to fight harder against Trump, to impeach Trump already, and help raise funds for the American Civil Liberties Union, Planned Parenthood, and the International Refugee Assistance Project, three very important organizations that are leading the resistance to Donald Trump and his horrifying agenda. All right, coming up on today's show, Buck Angel is here in the Magnum. He's the man with the pussy, trans rights activist, public speaker, all-around kick-ass guy on the Magnum, which you can subscribe to at www.savagelovecast.com. And on the micro edition of the Savage Lovecast, tons of your Qs, lots of my A's, all coming up on today's show. Today's episode is brought to you by Stamps.com. Stamps.com brings all the services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your fingertips. Buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter, any package, any class of mail using your own computer and printer. And right now you can enjoy the Stamps service with a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus postage and a digital scale. Go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in my code SAVAGE. That's Stamps.com, click the mic, enter SAVAGE. This episode of the Lovecast is brought to you by Zeal, the best way to find top local licensed and pre-screened massage therapists to come to your home anytime. Go to Zeal.com and get $25 off your first massage by using the promo code SAVAGE at checkout. This episode of the Savage Lovecast is brought to you by Astroglide O USDA certified organic dual-purpose massage oil and personal lubricant. Made from ultra-hydrating plant-based oils, Astroglide O has a luxurious feel and delicious coconut scent. Try a free sample at astroglide.com/purepleasure and indulge in an organic, erotic experience. astroglide.com/purepleasure.
Hi, Dan. This is a 23-year-old straight girl on the West Coast, and I'm calling because I found this really cute guy on Tinder, and we're both doing the same line of work, which is being in academia. Anyway, this guy's super great. He's really funny, super, super smart. He's older than me. We hit it off on Tinder, then we met up. We had been texting back and forth because he went on a trip, and we'd been sexting a little bit. Finally, we went on a date, and when we hooked up, he couldn't get it up, basically, and he claimed it was the whiskey. He tried to do oral. I've never come through oral, so we just kind of went to sleep, and he said, we'll just try again in the morning. In the morning, we wake up, we try to fuck, and again, it didn't work, and he got into the shower. I kind of freaked out, put on clothes, kind of gave a lame excuse, and left. And now I don't know what to do. I kind of asked him if it had something to do with maybe any medication that he was taking, and he said that he sort of gets this problem because of his sleep insomnia, or like sleep deprivation. And now I guess I'm torn between sort of, like, sex is a really important part of my relationships, and I don't know if this is that thing where, like, we're sexually incompatible and I should just not waste my time and should just keep looking for someone who can give me what I need, or if maybe I'm, like, jumping the gun and should give this guy a chance because he's great in everything else except that I really need dick. Anyway, I would really love your thoughts on this.
I have a hunch that sleep deprivation is not the issue. I get letters frequently from men who have this problem the first time they go to bed with a woman, the first time they're going to be intimate with her, the first time they're expected, the pressure's on, they're expected to bring the dick. And that nervousness deflates the dick. It prevents them from bringing the dick in the condition that you would expect a dick to be in at that moment. And you obviously require the dick to be in at that moment. And it's less of a problem as the relationship goes on, as they become more comfortable with that person. But to admit to that, to admit to, I was nervous, well, that's kind of weak. It's kind of emasculating. And he's already, in a sense, been emasculated in front of you by his inability to produce the erection that you expected and wanted. And he's less likely to cop to that. Look, it's just nerves. I'm just nervous. And the more time I spend with you and the more time we spend being intimate and rolling around, the less nervous I'm going to be. And my dick is going to spring to life and spring to action. I get that question from men all the time. And to a man, they never admit to the woman that they're having this problem with, or to someone that they're about to have this problem with because they're about to go to bed with someone for the first time, that nervousness, nerves, that this weakness, this emasculating weakness afflicts them. And so not to expect the hard dick the first couple of times we have sex, that we will do the other sex stuff that's also fun. You say you don't get off from oral. That's legitimate. Well, what about toys? What about vibrators? What about fingers? What about other ways? What about grinding on each other? What about other ways for you to get off and be intimate with him? Take the pressure off his dick in the moment, even that first moment. And often a guy's dick who's having this issue, the nervousness issue, his dick will arrive because the encounter is no longer hinging on whether he has the hard dick. The pressure's off. The expectations are different. And there's the dick. Or it may just be the second or third or fourth time that you guys roll around and mess around that his dick is like, all right, I'm cool. I'm less nervous now. She likes us. Let's make this happen. It's also possible that he has erectile dysfunction, and because he's young like you, he feels really ashamed. He feels ashamed of himself, and he is unwilling to discuss this with a doctor. You really like him. If he was an asshole, if he was a throwaway dude, if he was a fuckboy, I wouldn't encourage you to stick with him, but you really like him. He brings so much else to the table that you want in a man. He may be able to bring the dick that you want to the table and the kitchen floor and the bedroom and the backseat of the car and wherever else you guys are going to fuck in the future if you give him a chance. And I think it's worth giving him a chance because of all the other shit he brings to the table. You've obviously already had a freak out on him. You've directly addressed this problem with him, which probably has ramped up his nerves a bit. But I think you should keep talking to him about it. Like, what's the issue? What's the real deal? You say sleep deprivation, you're too sleepy, can't get it up. Okay. Is it nerves? Have you talked to your doctor? Is it erectile dysfunction? Is this something that in other relationships has worked out in time? Open up to me about it and see what he says. But my hunch, nerves. Get so many letters from guys who say they're nervous that first time. All the expectations are there. All the pressure is there. But the second or third time, things kick into gear. Seems to me that if you like him, everything else is great. You might want to stick around at least for a second and third time to see what happens.
Hi, Dan. Straight male, early 40s. Got a question about my marriage. Married for about 20 years now. We have lost our connection. Don't have sex too often, but the biggest problem is she's gained weight over the years, and I guess they kind of turned me off. This one problem. The second part of the problem is she's always on her phone playing games. I can't really connect or talk to her at all. And it's just really becoming a problem, like the phone is the priority. I guess my question is, should I feel bad about being so negative about her weight? I mean, she said stuff to me before in the past, very discreetly, and I really don't take too much offense to it. So maybe I can do it to her, but I'd love to hear your opinion about this.
In your mid-40s, together 20 plus years, that's a long-term relationship. That's the passage of a great deal of time. And time has a way of shredding us all. Bodies age, bodies change. The person you're with, the exterior that attracted you at first, that's going to morph over the years into something very different. And you may be less sort of just baseline physically attracted to your mate as time goes on. But in theory, and the hope is that there will be a strong emotional connection that grows over the years and that helps people who are less physically attracted to each other remain emotionally attracted to each other. And they are then still able to engage with each other physically, to be intimate, to have sex, to have desire to have sex, to connect in that way. And it's not about the lithe, lean 22-year-old, 23-year-old, 24-year-old you married. It's about the human, three-dimensional, much-loved, beloved person that you've been with for 20 or 30 years that you are connected to in a way and on a level that transcends appearance. But it requires that emotional connection to bridge that gap. It really does. And if all your wife is interested in doing is looking at her phone all night, then I don't think you can be blamed for not feeling that attraction to her despite how time has changed her body and your body as well. You can go to your wife. You have to use your words. You have to have a difficult conversation with your wife. It doesn't start that conversation with, look at you. I can't. It starts with, we both have to take better care of ourselves. I've gained weight. You've gained weight. Let's eat better. Let's get out of the house. Let's go places. Let's walk. Let's do things. Maybe let's join a gym like all the gays. Maybe. And let's put our fucking phones down and look at each other and talk to each other. Now, I say this as someone who himself is in a long 20-year plus relationship. It helps to have things to talk about. People talk about reconnecting. People talk about, putting the phones down and looking at each other. And then they're like, what? And they have nothing to say to each other because they understand and they know each other. They know the relationship. They know the ins and outs of it. You have to, as a couple at the 20-year mark, have other shit to talk about. You have to go to movies. You have to go places. You have to do things. You have to read books. You have to have grist that you can bring to the relationship. You have to have opinions. You have to have thoughts. And those thoughts and opinions aren't going to be about each other and about the relationship. You don't talk about and process your relationship endlessly at 20 years. At 20 years, you have processed that shit. There's no more processing that you could possibly do. You know each other inside and out. So you have to know other things together. You have to get out there in the world and do things together. Maybe do other people together every once in a while too. And then you will have some shit to talk about, some shit to process, some shit to connect around. All that said, if your wife ain't willing, if she's not willing to put down the phone, if she's not willing to prioritize your emotional connection in the hopes of reestablishing a sexual connection, there's no workaround for that. Takes two to tango, as they say. And if she won't put the fucking phone down and get up and dance, then you're going to have to ask for accommodations, or you're going to have to do what you need to do to stay married and stay sane. If indeed you want to stay married, you're going to have some other choices to make. As I like to say, we show our loyalty with more than our dicks. And as Esther Perel likes to say, there are more ways to betray your spouse than just physically, than just sex. Neglect, contempt, taking someone for granted. Those are also betrayals. And if you're being betrayed in a way that makes it impossible for you to stay, you should go, whether that's infidelity or whether that's just neglect and contempt. Let's say you want a good massage, but you do not have all the time you need to go and get one with the commute. You can have that massage therapist come to you with Zeal. You pick the time and the location, have your next massage on demand at home, save time. Just go to Zeal.com or on Zeal's iPhone or Android app. That's Zeal, spelled ZEEL.com, and select from top local licensed and pre-screened massage therapists. Choose your favorite technique, gender preference, time, and location for your massage. 7 days a week, 365 days a year, a Zeal massage therapist can be at your door in as little as an hour. Privacy, convenience, quality, and comfort. That's what you get with your massage on demand with Zeal. Jump on Zeal.com and Zeal will send you one of their 9,000 licensed massage therapists with a massage table, music, and everything you need to turn your living room into a spa and give you a 5-star massage. Scheduling, booking, and payment is fast and easy. Even the tip is included. No money changes hands. Don't wait all week for a massage appointment at a spa when Zeal can come to you right away when you need it. Bring the spa to you and try Zeal today. Really, today. They're on demand. You can have the best massage of your life in your own home with Zeal today. And to get you started, our listeners get $25 off their first massage by using the promo code SAVAGE at checkout. And guess what? There's more. Sign up for Zeal's massage membership and get 20% off all your massages, plus a free massage table and sheet set. That's a $380 value, yours free. There's no initiation fee to join the membership, just a great additional savings on top of the $25 discount you're going to get when you use our promo code SAVAGE. So go to Zeal, spelled ZEEL.com, or Zeal's iPhone or Android app, and then make sure to click add promo code at checkout to use our promo code SAVAGE and get $25 off your first in-home, on-demand massage.
Hi, Dan. I have a question about emotional abuse. I have had a threesome with my friend and my boyfriend a couple of times over the last few years. And although we all have a very healthy and great chemistry in the bedroom, it doesn't seem to be that way outside of the bedroom. We cut off any kind of sexual interaction with one another after there was some feelings involved. She told me she wanted more. I've been with my boyfriend for years, and I just wasn't interested in anything like that. And at the end of the day, my boyfriend just doesn't really like her in general because he feels like she definitely wants more from me, and he can see that. It's very obvious. She is a friend to me. I can talk to her about things that are going on in my life, and we can text and call each other, and everything's great. The moment we hang out with each other, she is pressuring me constantly to have sex, to kiss her, to touch her. We've had multiple conversations about how I'm not interested in that. I can't hang out with you because you make me feel pressured to do things, and it's really uncomfortable. I stopped talking to her for a little bit, but recently we've reconnected, and I told her, flat out, listen, there's nothing going to happen. We're not going to have sex with each other. My boyfriend's not going to have sex with you. It's not going to happen. I recently had a tragedy in my life, and I was in mourning, and she came over unannounced, and while I'm sitting there crying is pushing me to have sex with her, touching me in ways I don't want to be touched. I keep brushing her off. She tells me that she is, sitting there with a toy inside her because I excite her so much. And, it's easier for me to be uncomfortable than to start a conflict with somebody. She got mad at me and stormed out of the house. She's still trying to hang out with me. She's still asking me, when's the next time we're going to go out. She would love to see me, take me out for drinks. I've been kind of ignoring her, but I feel bad. I don't know what to do. I really just feel like she has no intention of being my friend and only wants to have sex. I hope that's not the case. I don't know what else I can do. And to be honest, because the way she's acting after I had a loss in my life, I'm scared that if I tell her that I don't want to do anything with her, there might be repercussions. She knows where I live, where I work, and I just got a new car, so I'm worried she might ruin that.
Listening to your call all the way to nearly the end, what was running through my head was, if a man was doing this to you, you would perceive it to be the threat that it is. You wouldn't feel bad about driving that person out of your life because that person, that man, had violated you repeatedly, sexually assaulted you. And then I get to the end of the call and clearly you perceive this person to be the threat that she is. You're worried that she's going to vandalize your house or show up at your house and do something crazy or blow up your car or go to your office and make a scene. This isn't a friendship. This is a hostage situation. You are afraid of this person. This person is menacing you and violating you and your person and your stated limits and boundaries and asks and not paying attention to the no that you're giving her over and over and over again. She's practically sexually assaulting you. It's restraining order time. It's end the friendship time. It's park the car 3 blocks away if you're worried about her turning up at your house time. It's involving your boyfriend. It's bringing in the cavalry. Not that your boyfriend is the white knight who's going to save you, but pulling in friends and letting them know what's been going on so that they can run interference for you and be a buffer for you. If she shows up at your office, if she shows up at your home, if she approaches you in public when you're with other people, you're going to need them to not hang back because, oh, there's your old friend, but to stay right there and make sure that it don't get ugly and be the sort of photo negative of a wingman. Not to help you land somebody, but to get that person the fuck away from you. Your friend is toxic. Don't brush her off anymore. Don't try to de-escalate. You need to perhaps escalate here because de-escalation and attempts to brush off and give her the hint that's not working because she keeps coming at you and coming at you and coming at you. You need to terminate the friendship and you need to tell her why. And you need to go get a restraining order against her. If she violates your request to leave you the fuck alone, not to show up at your house, not to call, not to email, not to text, not to snap, not to be lurking on your Instagram, nothing. You want no contact. Make it explicit, put it in writing, and if she keeps contacting you, go get a restraining order. You're afraid of her. She is scary. Cut her out, cut her off. Avoid the hassle of the post office and mail everything from postcards to envelopes to packages, domestic or international, with Stamps.com. Stamps.com lets you buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter, any package, any class of mail using your own computer and printer. Simply click, print, mail, and you are done. And unlike the post office, Stamps.com never closes. Print postage for letters or packages at your convenience 24/7. Plus, they'll even send you a digital scale that automatically calculates exact postage and help you decide the best class of mail based on your needs. Stamps.com brings all the services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your fingertips. And right now, you too can enjoy the Stamps.com service with a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus postage and that digital scale without long-term commitments. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in SAVAGE, and you will never have to go to the post office again. That's Stamps.com, enter SAVAGE. Stamps.com, never go to the post office again.
Hi, Dan. I am a 24-year-old cis straight woman living in a small town for the summer before I finish up my last year of grad school in a city that's about 3.5 hours away. And my question concerns the fact that it's kind of like an ethical, can I fuck him question. So the person that I'm interested in is my neighbor. He lives downstairs from me. He's 37 years old. So there's a little bit of an age difference there. And, you know, we have kind of a flirtatious friendship that's been developing over the course of this summer. And I don't have a problem with the age difference. Doesn't seem like he does. But the thing for me is that when I think about it, like on a grander scale, I do have a problem with the age difference in that, like, I hate Woody Allen and I hate Woody Allen movies, and I just hate the idea of an older man like fucking a younger woman to avoid women of his own age group. So I'm just wondering, am I enabling that if I kind of continue to pursue this like flirtatious relationship that could end up becoming sexual? And I realize that you're kind of a weird person to ask about this because you're a gay man, not a woman who's in her, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. But I just kind of wonder, like, what's kind of my ethical obligation here considering my politics?
I'm going to crawl out on a limb here and say that I don't think there's anything wrong with a 37-year-old man flirting with a 24-year-old woman who welcomes his flirtatious attentions and reciprocates those flirtatious attentions. I think there's obviously a power dynamic differential at work when you're talking about men and women are socialized to defer to men, and it's on men to make sure that the woman that you're flirting with isn't just blowing sunshine up your ass in hopes that you're not going to be crazy or violent, but actually is flirting back, that it is actually reciprocated and not just tolerated with a pained smile on her face that you misread because you're a man. And there's a power differential with that kind of age gap, but mid-20s, mid-30s, technically mid-20s, mid-30s, 24, almost 25, he's 37, almost 35. You round him down and round you up, it's a 10-year age difference. There's a lot of lovely lasting relationships out there with that kind of age difference. Woody Allen and his wife Soon Yi, that's a 35-year age difference. Also, and what's creepy about that relationship isn't so much the age difference. I can cite relationships with age differences as wide that seem to be happy and functional. What's creepy about it is Soon Yi was Mia Farrow's adopted daughter when Mia Farrow and Woody Allen were long-term romantic partners, and Allen had a kind of quasi-parental role in Soon Yi's life. That's what makes that fucking shit creepy, not necessarily the age difference. I think people sort of mush those together and just wind up being equally creeped out by the age difference and the adopted daughter of your romantic partner thing when actually they're different by degrees and scale. I think you're overthinking this. Good and decent people are careful about who they flirt with and when and where and how they flirt with them, and go make an effort to ascertain that that person welcomes their flirtatious attentions. It isn't about some arbitrary standard around who is allowed and who isn't allowed and what age and what gender and whatever else. It's about common sense. It's about common decency. It's about courtesy. It's about consideration. And you can't create a world where there's more of that just by refusing to flirt with someone that you're attracted to because of the principle of the thing. So stop overthinking this. If you're into this geriatric, aged, decrepit 37-year-old man and he's into you and you guys are flirting with each other, that exists in its own little erotic zone of permissible because you both enjoy it and you both want it and you both can go for it. You're not complicit in other people behaving badly when you two are treating each other well. We have a new advertiser this week on the podcast, and it is a new and very kind of on the money, appropriate, in our wheelhouse kind of advertiser. We have sold you mattresses. We have sold you sheets to put on those mattresses. Also in our wheelhouse, people have sex on their sheets. They have sex in their beds. Now, Astroglide is joining the Savage Lovecast team, so you can have some lube to use on those sheets and on those mattresses. You must try Astroglide O. Astroglide O is a USDA certified organic dual-purpose massage oil and personal lubricant. It's made from a unique blend of ultra-hydrating plant-based oils like smooth-to-the-touch coconut oil, sweet almond oil, and argan oil, all of them abundant with moisture. And that ain't all. It also has rich, decadent oils born from tropical ylang flower petals and sunflowers. These are just some of the 99% organic ingredients that bring Astroglide O to life. Whether you're using it as a personal lubricant or massage oil, Astroglide O's luxurious feel and delicious coconut scent will help you experience pure pleasure. Experience Astroglide O for yourself by getting a free sample at astroglide.com/pure pleasure. That's astroglide.com/pure pleasure. And don't worry, the packaging is discreet. astroglide.com/pure pleasure.
Hey Dan, West Coast, 20s, straight, male, and I'm having some issues in Loveland over here. Man, so I've been striking out pretty hard at university, and it's like 4 girls now where I've pursued them, and things seem to be going well, you know, and then like it gets to a certain level where I'm trying to like make something happen, like let's go out, this kind of stuff, and nothing ever materializes from it. Some say, oh, they're too busy, oh, they're not in the right place right now, which I take for code as you're just not interested, and that's why I don't understand why you showed interest in the first place. Yeah. And then it's like others, like at least one of them was like saying that she was totally interested in it, just like after the semester was over, and you know, once summer came, she'd be a lot more free, and she said she'd be totally down. And then when it came around, she just never really seemed interested. And then I found out she was like dating somebody else, and so it was like, okay, cool, thanks for leading me on in that one. But it just seems generally like a theme, like women are not even interested. And I'm a pretty good looking guy. I'm pretty articulate. I think I got a good head on my shoulders, and I think I have a lot to offer. And I'm not trying to blow myself up here. It's just like I feel like I'm a good catch, and I find it really difficult to get anything going with the girls that I'm into. And I don't feel like I'm batting for the fences necessarily. Like I don't have low standards, but I don't feel like I have extremely high standards. Like I'm willing to compromise if it's someone that I really feel attracted to, and you know, more than just physically, but also like if we have something in common and stuff, you know. But it just doesn't seem to materialize to anything, and it makes me feel like, wow, like, are you guys not trying to get laid too? Like, do you not have the same needs that I do? Like, why is it that women seem so content to just be single and not even give anything a chance? And it's just really frustrating. I just find myself getting to a point where I'm feeling apathetic, and I don't even want to bother with it anymore. Because, like, honestly, it really hurts to get, like, turned down, like, so many times. And when you put in your effort and you just get nothing out of it, not even, like, a date, like, you can't even get to that point. It just really makes you feel kind of small, and, like, what's the point, you know? And so I'm having trouble really, like, having any desire to keep doing this again. Because, you know, like, the whole Einstein thing about trying the same thing and you're going to be freaking insane. That's how I'm starting to feel. It's like, why bother when it seems like none of these women are interested in having any sort of relationship? So I don't know, like, what, and I know, like, people say, oh, you know, things come to you when you don't think about it or just do your own thing. And I am trying that. Like, I'm trying to, you know, just take care of myself and just, you know, go to the gym. I already go to the gym anyway, but to, you know, do things for myself and not focus on it. But I can't help but feel like there's like a hole, you know, and then I'm trying to fill it. And I want some intimacy and some, you know, some feminine attention. And so it's hard for me to like just disregard that and pretend like it doesn't bother me when it does. And then it makes it even harder when it feels like all these girls like don't have the same feeling. Like, I wish that I could just be content to not be in a relationship and not want to pursue women. I feel like I'd be fucking happier if I was asexual or something, because it's driving me crazy that I'm getting nowhere.
Whenever I'm interviewed about my job, this thing that I do, this crazy thing that turned into a career, people ask me like what I know now that I didn't know then when I started writing the column or doing the podcast. And what I didn't know then was that writing the column, getting these letters, hearing from so many straight guys would make me feel so sorry for straight guys. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there who are expecting me to jump down your throat and tell you you're doing everything wrong and you have this toxic masculinity problem or male entitlement. And what I'm getting, though, and the first thing that sort of welled up in me was sympathy for your plight. It's hard to get women into bed. It's hard. Pussy's a lot harder to get than dick. If you're gay, it is not hard to land some dick. If you're a straight guy and you want a relationship, you want intimacy like you do, it's harder to land some pussy. And responsibility for that lies at the feet mostly of straight guys. Women are a lot warier of just going for it than men are. Pussy's a lot harder to get because men are violent and dangerous, and the consequences of romantic or sexual choices that people make, straight people make, fall disproportionately onto the shoulders of women. Sexually transmitted infections, easier going from male to female, the risks of pregnancy, you know, that goes mostly one way or almost entirely one way. Intimate partner violence, rape, murder. That shit. There is a high bar that has to be cleared for women to feel comfortable with a dude. And that brings me to what I think you're doing wrong. I'm going to play a little bit of your call back to you. I just want you to listen to this sentence because I think it is revealing of the problem here.
things seem to be going well, you know, and then like it gets to a certain level where I'm trying to like make something happen, like let's go out, this kind of stuff, and nothing ever materializes from it.
So things are going well. You meet a woman, you establish a rapport, you establish a friendship, and then at some point you try to get something else going. You try to make something happen. You ask them out on a date. So what the woman concludes is the friendship was a lie, that it was a ruse, that you were being deceitful, that you were withholding your true intentions. And that can make a woman feel unsafe and insecure about who you are. And that gets everything asked backwards. You should, if you're attracted to a woman, start with that and be honest about it. Ask her out. Don't work your way into her life as a friend and then ask her out. Ask her out at the top. Ask her out at the start. That said, there are plenty of people out there who are in relationships that began as friendships. So that is something that can happen. It hasn't happened for you in the 4 times that you've attempted it. I think you're likelier to get into a relationship, likelier to get the intimacy you want if you ask women out that you're interested in, but it is possible that you could become friends with a woman for completely legitimate, attracted as friends reasons, and then want to upgrade and maybe want to ask her out and see if these growing romantic feelings are reciprocated, mutual, shared. What you don't want to do if they're not reciprocal, if they're not shared, is drop that person as a friend. You want to stay friends with that person. You want to take that rejection and you want to cauterize the wound. You want to decide to shut down your feelings for them, your attraction to them. Tell yourself it can't happen, but stay friends with them. You know why? Because she has friends. And if you're in her friend orbit, who knows? She may have a friend who will see you at a party or see you interacting with her friend and be attracted to you. And she will say to her friend, hey, is he a good guy? Women are always checking in with each other about dudes because dudes are dangerous. Women trust other women when they vouch for dudes. And if some other woman comes along and is attracted to you and says to your friend, is he a good guy? She's likely to say, yeah, he's a good guy if you stayed friends after the rejection. If you bump into that person and she's with a friend and you go away and the friend asks the woman that you used to be attracted to if you're a good guy and you were shitty when she shut you down, you were a shit to her when you tried to get something going, when you asked her out on a date and you didn't speak to her again, or you threw some fit, or you were angry, she's not going to vouch for you. She's going to say, no, he's a fucking nuts. You should stay the fuck away from him. Because we were friends, he asked me out, I said no, he blew up, he got really angry. Yeah, it scared me. Yeah, you don't want to go out with him. Don't date him, girl. That's what she'll say. All that said, one other piece of advice, maybe you're doing something wrong. Maybe there's something about your personality, about the way you come across that is threatening or intimidating or off-putting. Now, that's nothing I can diagnose. You have to be self-critical. You have to go to friends and ask them for their input. What am I doing wrong? I keep getting shot down in this particular way. What am I doing wrong? I'm telling you, you're getting the order wrong. Hey, let's be friends. Hey, want to go out? Getting that order wrong. Get on Tinder. Start with the going out and then see where it goes. But you might also be doing something else. Showing up to a second date in a MAGA hat or something that betrays bad judgment in so many different ways. Could be something you want to unpack with a therapist after you talk with your friends about what it is that you might be doing wrong. Because if you keep getting the same result, then something about your approach, something about the way you roll yourself out or the way you ask is turning women off. And you can get to the bottom of that. That is something that you can work on and repair and fix. You can be more self-aware and conscious and self-critical without being paralyzed by insecurity or self-criticism, without lacerating yourself. So get to work. Do it differently. Don't make friends to try to get dates. Ask women out on dates that you're interested in romantically. Make friends with women that you would like to have friendships with. Grow your social circle. Talk to your friends about what you might be doing wrong. Ask for some constructive criticism. Talk through this with a therapist. At your university, I'm sure there's a counseling center. Talk through your frustrations with a counselor at your counseling center and invite that person to be critical of your attitudes, your approach, whether there's any unexamined sexism in the way that you treat women that may be turning women off. And you can fix this. You will get a girl, the girl, some girls, if you take my advice.
Hi, Dan. I am a very boring, vanilla, married 30-something straight girl have the house, have the dog, the whole thing. The only thing that's kind of weird is that my husband and I have an open marriage. Not because anything was wrong, just we kind of talked about it and decided, it's kind of crazy to be together forever and never, ever do anything with anyone else ever. So I told my friends about it. They're all pretty chill, whatever, no big deal. And, I kind of agree with you that people should be out and, not closeted about such things. So I told my mom about it, which ended up being a colossal mistake because she is freaking the fuck out. Like, first when I told her, she, was like, oh, I'm so disappointed in you. You're sick and disturbed and you need help and blah, blah, blah. And now a couple days later, she just sent me this long stream of conscious email. Like, there's no paragraph breaks or anything. It's just blah out on this page. Just all this crazy shit. Like, I need to get a divorce. I have a sex addiction and an alcohol addiction. And I'm going to lose the house and lose my husband. I'm going to die alone of AIDS and, like, just crazy shit that she wishes her dad was still alive so I would have a positive male influence in my life. Like, I'm laughing. It's not really funny. It was actually really hurtful to read all these comments. I'm just laughing because it just seems so absurd and crazy. Like, I was just not expecting this crazy reaction from her. Like, she's not conservative. She's not religious. I don't know. I had no idea that me and my husband only having sex with each other was so important to her. But anyway, yeah, that's where we're at. So now I feel horrible for having, disclosed this to her. Like, I feel like I ruined her life. And now I don't know. I mean, should I just kind of let it lie? Should I try to talk to her again about it? Should I, try to buy her a book? Like, I just don't know where to go from here, how to deal with families. And I don't, if she tells the rest of the family, then should I just be like, yeah, whatever, no big deal? Like, maybe I'm just jaded from listening to your podcast for so long that I just thought this was pretty run-of-the-mill, boring stuff.
Wow, that was kind of a blast from the past. That was a mom having a freak out at her poly daughter in the style of a mom having a freak out at her gay son who just came out to her 40 fucking years ago. That's classic. Right down to the wish you had a positive male role model and a dad bullshit. That the assumption used to be that, if you had a shitty relationship with your father, that might make you gay, when in actual fact, a lot of little gay boys had awkward relationships with their dads because they were gay, not that those awkward relationships made them gay. Their dads could perceive that these kids were gay and didn't know quite how to respond or handle that, or handled it badly. And that fucked up that relationship. So, my God. And here comes your mother making the assumption that this crazy leap to you are only sleeping with other people, you're only in an open marriage because your dad isn't around to provide you with a positive male role model. That is some crazy shit. And the advice for you, it's the same advice I give to people who come out to their parents as queer and their parents have this kind of tantrum-esque freak out. You tell her you will listen to all of her panicky, ill-informed, irrational bullshit for a year. You will answer any insulting questions. You will absorb whatever she throws at you for a year. You send her a few books, more than 2, Opening Up, The Ethical Slut. She might have a problem with the title. You might want to skip Ethical Slut, but it's a really good book. You could send her Is an Open Marriage a Happier Marriage? The New York Times Magazine's terrific cover story by Susan Dominus from May 11th of this year, and say, this is a thing that people in loving, stable relationships sometimes do. And I'm doing it. This is what works for us. This relationship model works for us. Ethical non-monogamy works for us. A lot of people out there in marriages that are supposed to be monogamous who are unethically non-monogamous. We are ethically non-monogamous. This is what we want, and this is how we're going to live. And then after that year is up, you tell your mother, it's over. I'm done answering stupid questions. I'm done listening to you blow up at me with this shit. Go get a therapist to talk with this about, and treat me with respect, and treat my husband with respect, and respect our marriage, or you're going to see less of us, and you're going to hear less from us. The only leverage you have as an adult over your parents is your presence. And you should tell your mother that you expect her to respect your choices and treat you lovingly as you will treat her, or you're not going to be around. She's not going to see you. You're not going to put up with it. But yeah, sorry you're going through this. Sounds really familiar. I'm sure there's a lot of queer people out there listening who are like, uh-huh. Same reaction my mom had when I told her I was gay. So, hello, straight poly people. You have so much in common with gay people, with this coming out experience and the assumptions and the prejudices and the reactions you sometimes get from family. Good luck with mom. They do come around, though. In my own personal experience, moms do come around.
Hi, Dan. I am calling about episode 558 and the guy with the question about why he and all of his friends seem to have a related foot fetish. I can't really say why they're clustering together, but what I can say is that if you look carefully at a map of the sensory part of the brain, the part that processes information from different parts of your body, you will notice that the part of your brain that registers sensation from your feet is directly next to the part of your brain that registers sensation from your genitals. And since electrical spillover or neurosensory spillover is a real phenomenon where one part of the brain can get so excited that it excites its neighbors, that could well be the explanation as to why foot fetishes seem to be so common and seem to be so universal, and who knows how they find each other.
Hey, Dan. Just got done listening to the most recent episode with the kinky gay Marine. Fortunately for him, I am a SACO in the Marine Corps. So that's a substance abuse control officer. I'm the person who directs those piss tests. Now, this might be command dependent because there's actually not really a regulation on male chastity belts in our manual. That being said, he's probably fine. You can, as a male, take a piss test while sitting down if you decide to poop during it, which people occasionally do just to screw with the people who are on cock watch. If I were him, I would just do it. He also probably knows roughly when those piss tests happen. They always happen after certain major events, i.e. 96-hour weekends, because that's when people do drugs. So if he can get around his kink by unlocking himself during those times, and then for the couple times during the year when he might get a random piss test, just dealing with it. He'll probably kind of weird out whoever's looking at his dick. But again, this is a guy who's going to be looking at dicks all day long. Not a whole lot of weird shit that will really surprise him very much.
Hey, Dan. I'm calling in response to the caller in episode 558 who lost his partner suddenly at a young age and is struggling to date again. I actually went through a very similar situation. A man who'd been my long-term partner for 7 years, whom I was still very close with, died 3 years ago. I just want to let him know that as I began dating again after that, I actually found that a few of the guys I dated were totally okay with talking about it. Maybe due to their own difficult experiences they had gone through in the past, or they were just naturally kind people who could empathize with me. You might find the gentle guy who's happy to have those inevitable conversations when they come up, which they will, while still experiencing the romantic intimacy you need. And don't be afraid to open up. It's part of your story now, and like Dan said, the grief doesn't ever really go away. But what will happen is you'll become a lot more comfortable having those feelings alongside the really positive new experiences and new love and new friends that you're going to have.
And we're going to leave it there. 206-302-2064 is the number here at the Savage Lovecast. If you'd like to record a question or a comment for a future show, give us a buzz. 206-302-2064. Follow me on Twitter at FakeDanSavage. Follow Buck Angel on Twitter at BuckAngel. Savage Lovecast is produced every week by Nancy Hartunian and me and the tech-savvy at-risk youth and Nancy. We'll all be back at you next week with another installment of Savage Lovecast. Thanks for downloading.